This year, we also got to see the debut of Baby Groot's short film, I Am Groot, which is a welcome delight to many. Fans have loved this temperamental character ever since he returned to his younger self. Just recently, Disney Plus released a series of shorts, and in true Marvel fashion, they managed to sneak in a few Easter egg Marvel references. So, for today's video, we'll be sharing with you the Easter eggs and references in MCU's I Am Groot. So stay tuned if you don't want to miss out. Without further ado, here are 6 Easter eggs only die-hard MCU fans have noticed in I Am Groot. First, there's a yarrow root in the short Groot's First Steps, which makes a subtle nod to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The audience is shown Groot's potted plants sitting on the Milano. He battles a bonsai tree throughout most of the short, although there is another plant that he is introduced to immediately. In actuality, this plant is a yarrow root. After being held prisoner by the Guardians, Nebula wanted to eat one of these plants, but she kept being told that it wasn't ripe enough, thus she shouldn't eat it. This became a running joke in the second Guardians movie. However, she eventually does so and spits it out, saying that they were correct and it isn't ripe yet. It's unknown if the root from I Am Groot was the same as that one, but in either case, it's another example of the world that has been created around extraterrestrial fruits. Next, there's also the Eclector. The short film Groot's Pursuit is set on a Ravager ship that was previously seen in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Groot's moments with the Iwua, particularly the dance-off that served as reference to Peter Quill confronting Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy, take place in the expansive interiors of the ship, except for the fact that Groot didn't spend a lot of time on the Eclector that we were aware of. There wasn't much of a story behind this one. The MCU chronology on Disney Plus confirms that all the shorts after Groot's First Steps take place after the second Guardians movie, but before the post-credit scene of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This is one of the shorts that are more difficult to put into the timeline of the films. Next, we have James Gunn's voiceover. It is challenging to include many physical cameos because there isn't a lot of talking in the shorts. In many of the shorts, not even the Guardians make an appearance. The other Guardians are absent from the shorts except Rocket, who makes an appearance in Magnum Opus at the very end. Having said that, the Guardians film director does. The voice of Groot's annoying fitness tracker appears in Groot's Pursuit, which James Gunn wrote, directed, and starred in. This next Easter egg is pretty hard to spot, especially among younger fans, but true fans will instantly recognize Alf. Not many of the MCU's younger viewers will remember Alf. However, this sitcom was broadcast in the late 1980s and in a surprising move was taken up for a run in Marvel Comics' Star Comics label in the late 1980s and early 90s. While looking for materials to utilize his artwork for Magnum Opus, Groot discovers an old Alf comic in Star-Lord's rucksack. Even while this is a funny joke, it raises the question of what other comic books there are in the MCU since their characters have been supposedly appearing in them for the past 60 years. At least it is a fitting object for Star-Lord to have in the satchel he brought with him when he was abducted. Even though we are unlikely to receive any answers, this is because Yondu and the Ravengers abducted him from Earth in 1988, the year the Alf comic series debuted. Next, if you're pretty quick, you might have noticed Thanos' cameo too. As if other passing allusions to characters from Guardians weren't enough, we now catch a glimpse of the Mad Titan. While it is unknown what kind of book Thanos would be featured on, sporting his infamous gold armor set, there is something more about that is extremely startling, at least in the shape of a drawing on the front of a book that Groot reads in Groot's Pursuit. We presume that Groot reading this book demonstrates that he is a proficient reader, other than the fact that his linguistic challenges make it simple to presume he is the least intellectual of the Guardians. There is no reason to believe he couldn't. Drax had his complete lack of metaphor, may end up winning that award after all. And finally, there's the Analax battery. In the last short, Magnum Opus, one more bit of Guardians trivia is displayed as Groot searches for objects to incorporate into his effort to create a family portrait for the Guardians. Aisha sends her fleet after the Guardians as a result of Rocket stealing one of the Analex batteries from the Sovereign. In addition to nearly killing the Guardians twice in the second movie, the theft of the Analex batteries also had the potential to be a key story point in the third movie. Will Poulter will portray Adam Warlock, a significant figure from Marvel Comics, in the third Guardians movie. It appears that Aisha will have created Adam Warlock to send him after the Guardians. Given all of that, it seems odd that the Analex batteries just left lying around aboard the ship, but because only a small portion of it was destroyed by Groot, everything is probably alright. Now let's talk about how I Am Groot is something the MCU needs to make make more of. And we're letting you in on why they should do so. If you're curious to know more, then make sure you keep watching. Almost everything Marvel has to offer is pretty different than I Am Groot. The short series is made up of several short films, which all center around the well-known Guardians of the Galaxy character, Groot. The tone, tempo, and general content of I Am Groot will probably surprise most Game of Thrones GOTG fans a little bit. It is slower and more straightforward than the original material. To the franchise that came before and will come after it, this series has still made a priceless contribution. In fact, the MCU's further steps should be inspired by I Am Groot. Marvel films are renowned for being action-packed and for having a complex plot that is covered in each installment. In the MCU, chronology is crucial and everything is interconnected. Any addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, must advance not only the plot of the particular franchise to which it belongs, but also the plot of the MCU as a whole. Everyone can agree that the MCU is nothing if not complex, regardless of whether they are ardent Marvel fans or not. I Am Groot, on the other hand, is remarkably oddly straightforward. Their movies tend to be sophisticated and plot-driven, so fans rarely get a chance to spend much time getting to know the characters in a particularly intimate, simple, or personal context. The majority of the time, viewers get to catch up with characters as they are facing a brand new, perhaps fatal problem. There is, of course, the chance to get to know characters in this way, but there isn't much potential for character development to result from following a typical day in a character's life. Most people probably don't think that they really need to get to know these characters in the sense until I Am Groot appeared on the scene, but things have changed. Marvel's decision to allow one of their characters some breathing room and to provide a window into his life with absolutely no narrative or overall story progression is intriguing. Naturally, it is implied that MCU characters have whatever normal lives they lead in between the films that capture them at particularly traumatic times. However, without something like I Am Groot, most aspects of these characters' everyday existence are mostly unknown. I Am Groot spends time showing the viewer Groot going about his daily activities and integrating any unexpected adventures that may arise. I Am Groot feels like a refreshing opportunity to catch up with a favorite character without any turmoil. Even though this series is far less action-packed than the movies that came before it, this series is largely a succession of calm, laid-back slice-of-life moments with Groot. With only 2 other real characters and 1 scene with actual dialogue, this is rare for any series, but it's particularly strange in the middle of a series that revolves entirely around action and movement. Groot was the ideal figure to explore this region with because of his distinctive simplicity, which is well suited for a work that tonally simplifies this universe to its most simple, straightforward condition. Groot can draw in and hold the attention of an audience. Because of how well liked he is, Groot was the ideal topic for a day-in-the-life series, but he by no means needs to be the final. I Am Groot gives the Guardians of the Galaxy new life, and similar addition to the other Marvel franchises would be beneficial. I Am Groot creates space in the Guardians universe that travels from side to side rather than always following the narrative's ever-lengthening line, which would have moved the plot ahead. With that, we're wrapping up today's video about MCU's I Am Groot. Have you watched it yet? Which character do you think will fit in the kind of genre? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with notification bell on for more videos like this. We'll see you again next time.